Ain't nobody's running, ain't nobody's hiding, nobody's ducking. I mean, Crawford's going to be right there, ready to trade blows with Canelo Alvarez. Why did you use that word war? Why are you feeling that way?
If you go down the list and ask me about tactical advantages, most of them are Crawford.
Crawford could see everything coming. He could see everything coming that Canelo threw at him. He was reading it so well. His guard was so tight as well when he was up at the ropes, when he was exiting, looking to move around.
They looked about the same size, but that was a brilliant performance. And what can you say? I mean, you got to give him his credit. He created a lot of history. He dreamt this fight. He willed it to happen. A lot of people, not me, but a lot of people laughed at him, said, forget about it, no chance against a bigger guy like that.
Stephen A. Smith reacted strongly to Canelo Alvarez's loss against Terence Crawford. He explained that Crawford wanted this fight for a long time to solidify his legacy. According to him, Crawford proved himself on the biggest stage and is now the champion, taking away Canelo's shine. Smith emphasized that this was not just another win, but a defining
division world champion out of Omaha, Nebraska. He's undefeated, 41-0 with 31 KOs, and he begged for this fight. He wanted Canelo bad because to him, it's all about legacy. I'm not speculating. I'm telling you what I know. And how would I know? It's because I interviewed him. Yesterday, we sat down. Here is my conversation with the one and only Terence Crawford challenging Saul Canelo Alvarez, moving up 2 weight divisions.
Stephen A. Smith delivered a fiery response to Canelo Alvarez's defeat at the hands of Terence Crawford. He highlighted that Crawford had been eyeing this bout for years, driven by a desire to cement his legacy in the sport. According to Smith, Crawford didn't just win, he rose to the occasion on boxing's grandest stage, dethroning Canelo and stealing the spotlight. Smith emphasized that this wasn't merely a victory, it was a career-defining statement that reshaped the narrative of both fighters.
Having to jump up 2 more weight classes and fight a guy who might put him in a dog fight, a real one, for the first time in his career.
When we get put in that position, we go find opposition to make that happen. You understand me? So when we go looking for the opposition, we're not concerned about how big they are, how fast they are, how strong they are. We feel like we got enough that we can bring to the table with anybody. That night I fought John Ruiz, I didn't care who was over there. Whoever they brought out that locker room was going to get it. You understand me? That's just what it was. And I think Bud kind of has that feeling. Now, Bud, you got to remember, has been around for a long time. Nobody called him out. You understand me? All the time Floyd came at the boxing, Floyd never said, I want Bud Crawford.
No one ever said his name.
Hey, all I know is one thing, Israel Mazrimov, he didn't get it, he barely lost.
Yeah, but I was just saying, but nobody called his name.
Max Kellerman echoed the sentiment, calling Terence Crawford's performance nothing short of historic, a defining chapter in his career. Offering a sharp and insightful breakdown of Canelo Alvarez's defeat, Kellerman likened the challenge to stepping up multiple weight classes to face a relentless opponent capable of dragging you into an unforgiving war. Something Canelo hadn't truly experienced before. He pointed out that true champions don't shy away from danger, they chase it, regardless of size, speed, or power disparities. Crawford, Kellerman emphasized, embodied that fearless mentality. For years, no fighter dared to publicly challenge Bud, and now, he's proven why. By willingly embracing the toughest test, Crawford has firmly solidified his standing among boxing's elite.
Canelo said he was going to outbox him. He did exactly what I called years ago, and tonight he proved that he's the greatest boxer that ever lived.
Well, in the interview that didn't work, you said you felt like going on a run watching that tonight. How much inspiration can you take from someone like Terence?
I take everything from him. I've been around him since I was a kid. And just
Shakur Stevenson has never hidden his admiration for Terence Crawford, but after Crawford's dominant victory over Canelo Alvarez, his respect reached a whole new level. Stevenson praised Crawford for not only delivering on every promise made leading up to the fight, but for displaying exactly why he is regarded as one of the sport's greatest. Shakur revealed that from the very beginning of his own boxing journey, he had studied Crawford's style, mindset, and unshakable discipline. Witnessing his idol achieve such a monumental triumph only reinforced a deeper truth. Greatness is not an accident, it's built through years of relentless preparation and unwavering consistency. To T.O. Stevenson, Crawford isn't just a champion inside the ropes, he's a guiding figure, a symbol of excellence that young fighters like himself strive to emulate.
With 31 knockouts. He's taken on all comers. I asked him, you're moving up in weight. Why would you not try to get Canelo to come down from 168 to 160 to meet you halfway, since his last fight was Crawford's last fight was at 154? Crawford said, I want what he has. I want to go take it. I don't want to make, I don't want him making concessions and alterations. I'm coming to take what he has. And you look at him, and no one believes that he can't pull it off. He can box, he can punch, he's smart, he's elite, and he wants Canelo. He begged Canelo.
I've been around him since I was a kid, just watching that greatness, Shakur Stevenson said, reflecting on Terence Crawford's rise. His words echo a sentiment shared by many in the boxing world, including Stephen A. Smith, who highlighted the sheer determination Crawford displayed in the lead-up to his clash with Canelo Alvarez. Smith pointed out that while most fighters might have tried to negotiate Canelo down to a more favorable weight, Crawford did the opposite. He walked straight into Canelo's domain at 168 pounds. For Crawford, it was never about comfort. It was about legacy. Stephen A. reminded viewers that Canelo Alvarez remains one of the sport's most decorated champions, with titles spanning multiple weight divisions. The fact that Crawford targeted Canelo at his full strength and pursued it without hesitation speaks volumes about the level of greatness he was chasing. According to Smith, this wasn't just a bold move. It was a statement of intent to conquer the toughest challenge on the biggest stage without shortcuts.
A few hours ago against Canelo. And what makes it even special or more special for Crawford is that he did it jumping up, as we know, a couple of weight classes. He did it against one of an all-time or another fellow all-time great. And he did it against someone who was undisputed and still a pound-for-pound top 10 guy. That's what Crawford did, people. So, all those things people were saying in the lead up to this fight, Canelo's going to be too strong, Canelo's too experienced, Crawford's going to be 38, all that. You have to remember all of that when you give Crawford his flowers. Like, don't like, oh, well, Canelo looks old. No. I don't want to hear any of that. I've started to see a few people on Twitter start to kind of sort of find excuses already. No. Remember everything you said, because Crawford deserves all of that. All of that. Crawford was incredible. Honestly, in the pocket, he was at times showing Canelo, no, I'm stronger than you. I'm going to bully you. Oh, you think you're going to get me in the clinch because you're Mr. 168? No, look at the size of me. I'm jacked as well. I'm swole. And he was moving Canelo around. So by doing that, he got his respect. He didn't switch to orthodox once, stayed in the southpaw stance because he realized early, oh, Canelo don't like this. Canelo does not like this southpaw stance. Canelo's tripping over himself. I'm going to stay here. I'm not going to switch it. No, I like this work. I'm going to stay here. On the ropes, it's like, okay, come in. Because when you come in, I've got that as well. And I can hurt you as well. Spinning off the ropes. His jab was fantastic. They put up the jab numbers. He was out jabbing Canelo it was almost like 10-1. Maybe even 20-1. It was fantastic. And when he needed to land those power shots, he was landing those power shots. It was incredible performance.
Ado Oladipo underscored the dramatic shift in public perception surrounding Terence Crawford. Leading up to the fight, many critics had written Crawford off, labeling him too small, too old, and ill-equipped to handle a powerhouse like Canelo Alvarez at a higher weight. But after the final bell, many of those same doubters were suddenly offering congratulations, quickly forgetting the skepticism they once voiced. Oladipo made it clear, Crawford earned every ounce of that praise, not because the win was expected, but because it was anything but. Moving up from the lower weight divisions to face a dominant, multi-division champion like Canelo was no easy path. It was a massive gamble. Yet Crawford didn't just take the risk, he owned the moment. With a decisive victory, he silenced every narrative about size, age, or physical disadvantage. Oladipo emphasized that Crawford's triumph wasn't built on physical gifts alone, but on unmatched skill, mental toughness, and an unshakable will to win.
More fundamentally sound. While Canelo, even when he was able to get to range, which wasn't a lot, it wasn't often, he was having a hard time landing clean because everything was super wide and out here and to the body out there. And Crawford would either circle out to that same side, to Canelo's lead hand side. He would circle away because Canelo would step straight to Crawford and chase him and not necessarily cut him off. And even when he threw that hook, I was looking for the hook from Canelo, right hand as he stepped through, right? Corral with the lead hand, bang the right hand because you're fighting a southpaw. So yeah, your jab may not be as effective in landing and managing distance and all those things, even though for Terence it kind of was. For Canelo, I was expecting a lot more of that right hand down the middle and over the top, and him jabbing his way, feint jab right hand, and then that lead hook that I thought he would be able to corral Crawford, because Crawford did want to move away from Canelo. He did. He wanted to move away from that power hand. Smart to do. Canelo never took that extra step to step outside of Crawford's lead foot. Again, that orthodox southpaw matchup. It's always going to be a battle of that lead foot. He never took that next step to get outside of that lead foot and then step through Crawford, step to his left where Crawford was going and land his right hand. He just felt like he was falling off to his right with his right hand, and once he fell off to his right after he threw the right hand, there was no follow-ups because he was off balance, and Crawford was out the gate and circling back to reset the action. This was a masterful display from Terence Crawford. And again, I looked at this fight, and I don't want to do the thing where I said, oh, Canelo's washed, he's over the top, he's old. Terence Crawford's older than Canelo. Is he as weathered as far as fights are concerned? No. But you can only do one thing when talking about this fight, and that is give credit to Terence Crawford. If you want to say Canelo looked old, that's fine. That's on you. I'm not going to.
The Wade concept brought a crucial dose of clarity to the post-fight conversation, shutting down the idea that Canelo Alvarez's loss could be chalked up to a fading prime. The analyst made a key point: Terence Crawford is actually older than Canelo. If age were a legitimate excuse, it would apply to both, yet only one emerged victorious. He went further, noting that Canelo entered the bout with undeniable advantages: superior weight, greater power, and complete familiarity at 168 pounds. And still, none of it was enough. Wade argued that this wasn't a case of Canelo slipping, it was Crawford rising. The fight didn't expose Canelo's decline, it showcased Crawford's evolution into something even greater. By stripping away the easy narratives and dismantling the excuses, Wade emphasized what can't be denied: Crawford's win was real, earned, and deeply
punches
historic.
On the back foot, sort of dictating the pace. And then after about round 6 or 7, Canelo Alvarez knew, 1 second, I need a little freshener. Canelo knew he had to step on the gas. He knew he had to put the fight on its front foot and take it to Terence Crawford and start to try and catch him and bang him on. And when he headbutted Crawford, I thought that could be the start of it. A little bit of a nut, get that down. Yeah, I don't know if there was a cut, but the referee stopped and had a look, and I thought now Canelo's going to step on the gas. And he did that. He stepped on the gas, he started getting in close, and he started landing a few more shots than he was in the previous rounds, but it wasn't enough. Terence Crawford was able to catch and counter. He was landing a sneaky uppercut from the southpaw stance. He was dominating behind his jab, and then when Canelo stuck it on him, he was dominating up close in the pocket. He was beating him at his own game. Canelo Alvarez must have been fuming in there. He must have thought to himself, what can I do? He couldn't do anything. He needed to pick up the pace, put the pressure on, and sustain the attacks. And I don't want to take anything away from Terence Crawford, but Canelo Alvarez couldn't do that. He couldn't do it for long enough. Crawford looked like he could have done 20 rounds in there tonight at that pace, the way he was dictating and controlling. And Canelo Alvarez was getting marked up, he was breathing heavy, he was getting tired, he was reaching with shots, and it was getting torn apart. It was an absolute masterclass by Terence Crawford. Canelo tried, Canelo came and he had a go, but to be honest, I don't want to rain on the parade of Crawford, but Canelo Alvarez, for me, is well past his best now. He's seen better days. He hasn't got the pace, he hasn't got the fitness to sustain the attack. Afterwards in the interview, he said, I felt great, it's great, I feel good. And don't forget, Crawford's a couple of years older. So I think it's the miles on the clock. Canelo Alvarez had like 67 fights. I know Crawford's had a fair few fights, but he's about 20 fights behind him. So the miles on the clock have caught up with Canelo Alvarez. He's feeling the pace, he's feeling...
Former world champion Carl Froch offered sharp insight into Terence Crawford's tactical brilliance during the middle rounds of his bout with Canelo Alvarez. Froch observed a clear turning point around the 6th and 7th rounds, when Crawford made a decisive shift in strategy. Recognizing the need to assert greater control, Crawford began pressing forward, using his jab as a surgical tool to dismantle Canelo's rhythm. That jab, Froch noted, wasn't just a scoring punch, it became the key to dictating the pace, forcing Canelo onto the back foot and disrupting his usual composure. Froch praised Crawford's ring IQ, calling it a masterclass in timing and adaptability. Rather than letting the fight drift into a tactical stalemate, Crawford recognized the moment and took it. He didn't wait, he imposed. And in doing so, he stamped